Hey, what's up, Fuel Your Mission? Thanks for checking out the vlog today. Today's topic is 3 ways that meeting expectation spells disaster, 3 times that meeting expectation spells disaster. So I think first off, to start out, we all have expectations. We can't shake that. We have certain expectations that we put on others, certain expectations that we put on ourselves, expectations on life circumstances, etc. So if you're watching this, you probably had expectations around how long it was going to take you to commute into work here this morning, or how long it was going to take you to get to class, or how long it was going to take you to get certain ways. Then you had expectations about how the rest of your day was going to go. I can recall many times where you kind of expect to be pulled into meetings that you don't need to sit in, or you expect to have certain fire drills pop up, or maybe you expect your boss to have issues with you that day, or a coworker to give you a hard time. A lot of the expectations that we have are actually, if we go back and look at them, are actually kind of a form of negativity. We expect negative things to happen rather than the positive. These feelings can really be crippling, and when we hear of the phrase meeting expectations, unfortunately, the sad reality is that usually that means that maybe you did kind of a subpar job, or that something wasn't excellent, it met expectations. And I think these are certain things that, whether right or wrong, we carry those burdens with us in terms of how we set and then meet or exceed our expectations. So here's why 3 different ways, or 3 different scenarios where meeting expectations, which should be a good thing, right? If we set the bar high enough, or if we have positive expectations and we meet those expectations, that should be a good, rewarding feeling. But oftentimes it's not, as I mentioned. So here's the 3 times that you need to really be careful when you set expectations. And the first is that we allow expectations to control our entire lives. We've all had teachers, maybe it was even sadly a parent, a relative, a friend, who has given us their expectation of us. Sometimes this is positive. Sometimes it's a benchmark that's so high that it's almost unattainable, and that can be used in a good way. However, it can also be, the phrase like "you'll never amount to anything," or if you've had people in your life tell you that, it can certainly be a huge barrier. Those expectations are very, very realistic. So I think that, to quote Walt Disney, he once said, all our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. So the first thing is, we allow that expectations to set the pace for our life. And I think we really need to be careful that way, because in both an overambitious way, you can end up feeling like you're a failure if you never reach that expectation, but then vice versa, if you have a supremely negative expectation on your life, that can be disastrous too. The other thing is that it may set us up for failure, and this is certainly kind of a layer deeper than what we just talked about. So this would be a situation where almost like I shoulda, woulda, coulda kind of deal. So just feeling like you're never going to hit those expectations that are either set on yourself by yourself or from others. So I think that those are things we really need to watch out for. And then thirdly, and you'll notice these all tie together, lastly, is that sometimes it can be difficult to tell good expectations and realistic expectations from negatives. So I have tried, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of these expectations that we have in our lives or around our daily lives are hugely negative. Very rarely do we have positive expectations of how our day is going to go, or how our week is going to go, or whatever. And I think having the right expectations up front, and then using expectations as a benchmark and a motivator, that's how you're really going to break through those plateaus. And I think, to key, and I'll link it below, but we talked about self-awareness in a previous video. I think self-awareness is so critical, because you've got to know and find that balance of, okay, I'm challenged and I'm pushed, but not to the point where it's negatively affecting me, because then, you kind of sit around so overwhelmed that you don't do anything. You don't take action on those things that you need to do. So I think it's really finding that balance. So lastly, I'll leave it with this. I think that you really have to be your own filter. And that's kind of the takeaway today, is be that filter for yourself. Filter out positive expectations from negative ones, and you will avoid disastrous expectations that are imposed upon you. Have a great day. Comment below. Tell me what you think. And as always, thanks for following.